Well, we'll wait just a minute to see if Jared gets here. So, I know, I just sent him this morning, but
Yeah, I saw that. I did that in the minute.
did you look through the minutes?
Not closely. I just saw that they were there.
No, because I would have asked you, because we have a new guy doing minutes, what kind of things you wanted to have in.
Yeah, let me look at it.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, everybody's here except for Jared, right? Let's, it's 8:16. We'll open the Lake City Historic Preservation Commission meeting. Mike, you want to do a roll call?
Sure, happy to. Good morning.
Morning.
Judd.
Present.
Hey, Kenny.
Present.
Jared. Is Jared in?
He doesn't seem to be here yet.
Joe.
You here?
Okay.
Okay, Mike's here.
Oh, Mike. Yeah, present.
We have guests today. Lindsay Flewelling from HPC Colorado is here as part of the every 4-year evaluation of the Historic Preservation Commission and has oversight of the agreement between the town and the state, the certified local government agreement. Jared is here.
Yep.
Just a couple of minutes, yeah.
All right.
Morning.
And are you representing anybody or just
Me and Danielle.
no? I mean, Danielle Worthing is
I
here.
mean, I'm curious about Lee and Derek Wright's COA and just hoping, they
Yeah,
reach
okay.
final approval.
The agenda. We'll put it up.
And for the Zoom people too.
It's up.
Yeah, but do you want them to see it on Zoom? You.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't need to do that right now. I just want to check on it. We might want to do that when we get to the COA applications that
Okay.
are there also. But pull up because then I want to name the different minutes that we have to approve.
We'll just, we don't have an Adobe account on it, so it won't let me keep it open. So I can't do it.
I can just read it.
I just read it.
Okay. Moving on to approval of prior minutes. We have 3 February 2026, a regular meeting. We have the 23rd of
I can
February.
see it here now, Mike.
Okay.
But let's take them one at a time. Well, why don't you go ahead? I mean, you wrote most of these things.
Okay. Start of February 2026, regular meeting. Do we do a roll call vote to approve?
Does anybody have any comments on the minutes from the, February 3rd regular meeting? Corrections, changes, anything like that? No, then, go ahead, Mike, do a roll call, on approval of those minutes.
Okay, for approval of those minutes, Joe,
Yes?
Judd,
Yes.
Kenny,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Mike, yes.
Was everybody at that meeting? Because people shouldn't be approving it. So if any of these things, if you were not at that meeting, let it be known. Chronologically then, we had a special meeting on the 23rd of February. Are there any questions, corrections, comments associated with those minutes?
Look good to me.
None.
Okay, then for the February 23rd special meeting, let's have a roll call vote on approval.
Joe, Judd, Kenny,
Approved.
Jared,
Yes.
Mike, yes.
February 23rd special meeting has been approved. The next one was on March 12th. We did not have a regular meeting on the first Tuesday because we didn't have any applications in at that time. We had a special meeting to deal with a couple of applications that had come in and to deal with kind of a workshop on the Wright House. Any questions, corrections associated with that special meeting on the 12th of March?
Joe, I believe we also approved the doors for the fire department. So there was one. If I'm looking at this correctly.
So there's one missing in that?
No, you've got it on here. I'm just saying you didn't mention it. So I think it's fine the way written.
Well, I think weren't there two that were approved? I haven't pulled it up.
The notes for, you said March 12th?
Yes.
Yeah, there were two. That's correct. There was the Wright House and then there was the fire department, which we approved for the fire department.
Well, I mentioned that we discussed new plans that the Wrights provided.
Correct.
And there was a formal vote on denying the first application.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, are there any corrections?
No.
On these
None.
minutes? Okay. Then let's have a roll call vote on the special meeting of February 23rd.
Okay, Joe,
March 12th, 2026. Mike?
Joe, Judd,
If I'm right, I missed that.
oh, okay. Kenny,
Approved.
Jared,
Okay, there's approval from all who were at that meeting. And the last minutes we have are from a workshop that we had just recently with the architects for the what do you call it? Housing project,
Yeah.
Lake Fork Housing Project. On the 26th of March. Are there any comments on that? And Mike, I can just say, I added a couple things from that draft that you sent me, just so you know.
yeah, I saw that.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, no comments, corrections? Then Mike, let's have a roll call vote on the workshop meeting.
Okay, Joe,
Yes?
Judd,
Yes.
Kenny,
Yes.
Jared wasn't there, and Mike, yes.
I'll just point out that Lindsay at History Colorado receives all the minutes from our meetings to oversee what we're doing and what we're approving and not approving and such. Do you have any comments on special things that you'd like to see in minutes?
This looks good. They talk about the reasoning behind your decision, so that's the main thing.
The reasoning behind the decision is an important aspect of it. Downloaded minutes here. I do want to add just a couple of things. We received new communications, and we'll cover this towards the end of the meeting. We got letters from through the town from the Main Street program related to keeping up to date on resource surveys and what Main Street program currently does in terms of housing property inventory in the town. And we received a communication related to a so-called Section 106 review of a federally funded project, all toilets on the Alpine Loop, asking us if we're interested in commenting on it affecting any historic resources there. I'll bring that up briefly at the end. Okay, the first action item is COA 2025-04, 220 North Gunnison Avenue, owned by the Piltingsrud family, the Lone Pine Apartments. They're requesting the replacement of multiple windows in there. Jared and I were the subcommittee discussing things with them. Do you want to go over? Can you look at the evaluation that we did?
Yeah, we got it up here. I can read it.
Why don't you go ahead and read it?
Yeah. This valuation recommendation for COA 2026-04, 220 North Gunnison Avenue, Pilsen Scrub, Lone Pine Apartments, replacing multiple windows on a 1953 non-contributing building. This COA is a request for replacing a window in each existing bedroom on both north and south sides of the building with egress code conforming windows. There's also one new bedroom being created inside this apartment building, and an egress window will be installed in there also. This no architectural style 1953 building is one of several cinder block structures in the neighborhood built by Joel Swink, and has considerable connection to the local history, both related to various occupants and having over time included the town's post office and a variety of businesses on the west end. However, its exterior has been altered to the extent that it's no longer considered a contributing building to the historic district. This applicant will be replacing 30 by 48 high existing windows with egress conforming exterior vinyl casement windows that are approximately the same size and orientation. The applicant also plans to add historic district appropriate wood trim with a simple center pointed pediment on these new egress windows. We recommend that the COA applicant be approved as proposed. Jared and Joe 4626.
Okay, any questions, comments with regard to this application? I have one question to Lindsay. It's kind of education for all of us on how to look at these kind of buildings, and I wrote that special stuff about a little bit on the history. It's a non-contributing building. It was built within the we don't have any survey of buildings associated with local designation here. possible that it could qualify for that. Do we look at old historic buildings that we don't know? I mean, we don't have a formal recommendation with regard to local designation. Do we look at these things differently than a newer building?
So you could look at it in the sense like if it could ever become contributing or if it could be a local landmark because it's in like the historic period of significance. So it just kind of depends on if there is a potential for it ever being designated, then you wouldn't want to, well, you would want to encourage the property owners not to do anything to make it, have less
Worse
security.
off.
Yeah. But if it's just replacing like vinyl windows with vinyl or something, then that's not,
Yeah.
if they're just doing like for like on stuff that.
No, I asked, I mean, because we have, that's why we give out the architectural survey for each one of these buildings, so you guys can know what the history of the place is and how much to take that into account and looking at it. And for example, at my house, when I asked to replace decking on some of the porches on my house, I was told by the group here that I could replace the decking on the back of my building, which was newer than the original house, with my Trex decking, but on the front porches on the old part of the house, it needed to be wood. So they apparently took into account the historic aspects. My house could probably be locally designated as contributing. It's not at this point. Anyway, there's a recommendation to approve this Lone Pine Apartments building replacement windows as proposed. If there are no further comments or questions, then we can entertain a motion to do that. What?
I submit a motion to approve.
Second.
Can we do the roll call?
We need to fill in, I mean, the motion itself needs to state that we're approving the certain application.
I'd like to make a motion to approve COA 2026-4 for 2020 North Gunnison Avenue and the replacement of windows.
As proposed.
Lindsay, for example, should there be some reasoning in that motion?
The reasoning is already in your public record. So, because you are following what was proposed.
Okay,
So you already, if this.
it's in the public record because it's,
As proposed.
Right.
no, because it's.
Because you already have it written out, like, on the.
Okay, but that's not, that evaluation has not been going into the public record.
Oh, okay.
So it's taped at this meeting. But, I mean, sometimes those recommendations that get changed here and things like that, so those things have not been going into the public record.
I would say in your meeting minutes, you could note that, it, goes with certain design guidelines or something.
Well, I mean, what we've done in the past is to, point to a page in the design guidelines or something like that. I think we're fine right now, but just so you all know, in terms of making motions and so on, and things that get reported to them, I found over time that dealing with these evaluations and the way they get changed here is too much paperwork and so on. I'd like to see it done simply in the motion. That should satisfy History Colorado, and they're also reviewed by the federal government at some point or not?
Not currently, but they could be.
They could be.
at some point.
So I have
Okay.
a question on the topic, Joe, just because Jared read it off and we have a recorded meeting, does that serve as a record?
And it's recorded for perpetuity.
Yeah, I mean, now that we're uploading it into YouTube, it could be perpetuity, but ultimately it's the written minutes that are the permanent
That's
record.
what people look at.
Got it. Thank you.
Trevor had a question, if this property owner comes back in 15 years wanting more replacement windows or something, you would want to have something to go back to know the basis of past decisions.
So you can approve it just as proposed.
I think we'll do that here.
Yeah.
Just a little education thing in terms of how we deal with these things. So we have a motion. Okay, did we have a second on that? Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve COA 2025-04 as proposed. Let's have a roll call vote on that, Mike.
Joe,
Yes, I approve.
Judd,
Yes.
Kenny,
Approved.
Jared,
Yes.
Mike, yes.
Okay.
Approved.
Oh, is there any, pardon?
Approved. Like I said.
Okay. Okay, so COA 2025-04 is approved as proposed. The next item on the agenda is COA 2026-05, 138 Love Street, which is the former brewery, now going to be called the Summit. I'm not sure whether they call it a restaurant or what, but it will be a food place. Justin Lamont owns it, and Brennan and Kalen will be matched. They're asking for a new door on the south exterior wall. Doug and Mike were assigned to this one. Can you review what this is about?
We met with them, and what they did is and they proposed adding a door to the back of the building, and also a deck in front. They also sent drawings, and that went to all of us. And I didn't have any kind of problem.
I'm sorry, did somebody, Mike?
Do you have any comments?
No, I don't have any problem with it whatsoever.
Okay, is there a recommendation?
I recommend
So we
that.
recommend,
Hey, Mike.
I'm sorry, Judd. We recommend that COA 2025-05 be approved as submitted.
Is there any comments, questions with regard to this particular application and the recommendation? And we can entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion for COA 2026-05 for 130 Bluff Street based on the recommendation of the subcommittee to approve the addition of the door and deck to the rear of the building.
And deck.
Yes, I said that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the COA. Any last comments? Then Mike, go ahead, let's do a roll call vote on this motion.
Joe,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Kenny,
Approved.
Jared,
Yes.
Mike, yes. Motion carried.
Yes.
Approved.
COA 2026-06 is approved as proposed. I'm sorry, 05 is approved as proposed. And we'll go on to the next item. COA 2026-06. Are there any the rights on here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, just a technical question here. Is this, will this address be 415 Henson? Do you know that at this point, just for our records and so on?
I believe so. We weren't going to section the property off into two. So I believe, yes, it would be 415.
Okay. Pardon?
I don't know why it would be different.
Okay, okay.
they were to do an adjustment or, do a property boundary adjustment, wouldn't it then change? Isn't that what you were getting at?
Well, yeah, but it won't be. They're not doing that, so it should be 4.
Okay, no, just a clarification to be clear.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I asked everybody to have a look at this. We haven't done a two-person review of this particular one. We've been dealing with this for some time, so I expect everybody to have to look at this closely. Are there any questions or comments with regard to the proposed new residence to be built south of the Rock House on 415 Henson Street? One comment, okay.
We have in the description of the windows proposed, I will just read it. And looking at the most recent version of the COA, under windows, we will use black margin windows. Here's a sample of the window made at the manufacturer. The sample is not the correct size, but shows what the real version of the window will look like. This is a casement window with a single cross grid. Is this, just for clarification, is this the identical window, say for different sizes? Because I read it that this is the casement window with a single cross grid, and this seems to be a divided light set of windows. So can you just clarify whether or not we'll have, like, for example, a 4-pane window or a 2-pane window?
It'll be the casement window with the cross grid, so 4 panes.
And that's as drawn in the drawings, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
That's what's illustrated here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe my understanding of casements askew.
Okay, and I have just one other brief correction on the application form, just so you understand the meaning of a contributing building. This is not a contributing building, so we will change that to non-contributing and to new building in the district. Are there any other comments or questions with regard to the application as it stands now? Okay, we had the clarification to Jared's. Then we can entertain a motion on approval of this application.
I'd like to make a motion on COA 2026-06 for 415 Henson Street for the submitted application and plans for new construction. Save the adjustment that Joe made relative to contributing versus non-contributing on the application based on appropriateness of the design.
I second that motion.
Okay, any comments, questions with regard to that motion? Basically approving it. Then, Mike, let's have a roll call vote on this.
Joe,
Approve?
Judd,
Yes.
Kenny,
Approved.
Jared,
Yes.
Okay.
Mike, yes. Unanimous. Hallelujah.
Okay, we have unanimous approval for COA 2026-06, new construction of a residence at 415 Henson Street. Well, we have some applause. Yeah. Okay, thanks you guys for going through all this.
All right, thank you.
Our next item is COA 2026-07, 508 North Gunnison Avenue. The Assenheimers have asked for a fence replacement and a new fence. Again, this one came in late for this meeting, but it is an application that under our current bylaws could be approved administratively. I decided to just put it on this meeting here. We can deal with it quickly that way. Basically, they're asking for fence replacement of, a fence in front of their property that was already approved by a different owner. This is Mark Zexner's old house, on Gunnison Avenue. The front fence was approved in 2023. They have a slight change to the design on the top of the pickets on the fence, but it's not a material change. But they're also asking for the same kind of fence along part of the back of the property and up a little bit in there. As I say, this thing could have been approved administratively. I don't see any issues with it whatsoever. The fence is only about 3 feet high wherever they're putting it. And I think it should be approved. I would entertain a motion.
I have one comment, Joe, or at least a question. I didn't see this as a contributing property, but I think the application lists it as such. Is it a contributing property or not, based on your record?
It's not a contributing property. I'm glad we need to change that on the application.
Yeah, that's the only thing, the only comment I've got.
Okay.
I'd like to make motion that COA 2026-07, 508 North Gunnison Avenue be approved for the fence replacement and new fence with the addition of what Kenny just stated about non-historical, the building being
Contributing, okay.
Second.
Second, we have a second. Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve this fencing. Any last comments? Then Mike, let's have a roll call vote on approval.
Joe. Judd.
Yes.
Kenny.
Approved.
Jared.
yes.
Mike. Yes. Approved.
We have a unanimous approval on the fencing. We'll contact the owners on this. Well, I have to sign it and then. Are there any owners still online here? Okay, they're still there. So what happens now is I need to sign your application, and then it will go to you for your signature and come back to the town, and then it will be sent to Gabe for him to deal with the building permit. So, okay. Okay, we're finished with the action items here. We're dealing with new business. And I have on here an update on the reorganization of the architectural surveys for all properties in the historic district, and including them in an update of the historic preservation pages of the town of Lake City's website. So just briefly, well, very brief history. We lost our online website associated with the departure of a town manager some years ago, and we have not fully replaced that. A local person volunteered to scan many of the architectural survey reports that are held in the town office. They did just the contributing ones, and without the photographs. We need to have all of the properties online with photographs and available to the public. And we're working on that. We got from Lindsay Flewelling at the state digital copies of all of the architectural surveys for all the properties in the town. They're a little bit different than the ones that are in the town office. And I just asked Grant Houston whether he had any idea why there's the difference. There's comments and corrections, and I'm pretty sure to the ones that are in here. that I assume that the state did.
Yeah, so it would have been whoever was entering it into the state's database,
Mhm.
making corrections. So that'll match what's in Compass.
Okay, so
So we
those,
should use those records.
those are the most appropriate ones to have online
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll match what the state has.
with the state has. Okay, well then that means, yeah, we need to use all those. Okay, and just so you guys understand, in 2020, we had we got a CLG grant from the state for a historian to come here and reevaluate about 30 properties in the historic district that had become 50 years old since the 2004 survey. And so there's new architectural surveys just as detailed, in fact, in some cases more detailed than the old ones, that will become I think we talked about that yesterday, the primary record.
Right.
And we will note that there are older records that are available at the town, but what we'll put on the website is the more recent 2020 version for those 30 houses. And just so you know, about half of them, there was a recommendation that, there was a statement that if Lake City, because at that time, Lake City did not have the ability to, or the power to locally designate properties, the contracted historian said in about half of those properties, they would be eligible for local designation. That's up to the property owners to ask for. I can't remember the last thing on it. But anyway, those are the ones that will be put online for those particular properties. And this comes a little bit to one of the communications that we got from the Main Street program with regard to they apparently are required to keep a record of well, you're on the board, right? Do you remember what that's called? A housing or a house in property inventory?
Look it up. I got an email about that, but I believe the last time we did an inventory was done was 2024, but I'll get back to you. Let me look that up.
Well, yeah, I can tell you what's in that because, yes, I mean, the DOLA contracted to have an inventory of all the Main Street programs in Colorado. So, and I think Christie sent to the town a copy of that for the town. And basically what that is a listing of all the properties by the owner's last name that provides information on the value of it and the size of it, things like that. It doesn't really have anything to do with historic value and so on. So it's the town and the HPC that has responsibility for maintaining the so-called cultural resource surveys, these architectural surveys that we call them.
Yeah, Christy wrote in this email, we are up to date with the building inventory and the cultural resource inventory is not our responsibility.
Yeah.
In 2024, DOLA's Colorado Main Street program hired consultants, Ayers and Associates to update all Main Street communities' building inventories. Ours is attached here. So the last cultural resource inventory completed by the town of Lake City under a CLG grant that was completed in 2020.
Right.
It's right.
So that's the one I just described.
Yes.
Buildings that became 50 years old. So, I mean, we had a little discussion. Lindsay had a meeting with the town staff yesterday with regard to our fulfilling the requirements of the certified local government agreement. And I mean, the state basically requests that resurveys be done approximately every 10 years or so, right?
Yeah, or at least have a project in mind and hopefully be moving toward applying for a grant by like 2030.
Get a grant through History Colorado to do that stuff. So we're okay for a little while.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing is this section 106 business. Why don't you explain a little bit on what that is?
So the vault toilets that are going in on the scenic byway, they're being funded by a federal grant, and in order to abide by the Historic Preservation Act, the that they have asked local area historic preservation commissions and historical societies to act as consultants on the project. And I believe I forwarded that email to everyone. And it's voluntary. You can comment it or on it or not. And the comments are due within 30 days from yesterday.
This is a requirement when you get federal funding for doing projects like that. I think I'll talk to, Brant Houston, the Hinsdale County Historical Society has also received this request. They probably know more about historic resources up around that loop. I'll talk to him about what and if, how they plan to respond to this. And I think we might ask to just go in on as part of the comments that they put in or something like that, or just say.
Would you be willing, Joe, to, after that conversation, just to, email us?
Yeah, sure.
Something short. It'd be important to me. I'd
But
like to
did
know.
they require a letter of response from us?
I did not read that entire letter.
Okay.
I just said, oh, this is all.
It just came yesterday, or it came very recently. Yeah.
Yeah, I came at the end of the day yesterday, so I have not read it yet. Then full.
Okay, and yeah, the idea is whether the placement of those things affects any historic resources around that. And we'll leave it at that for now. I'll
Yeah.
communicate with Brant. Any other things people wanted to bring up? Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks for everybody that was here for the meeting. What time is it? It's 8:57, and we'll close the Lake City Historic Preservation Commission meeting for today. Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.